People always judge from the physical appearances. This impression of people started on the day when I was born. They start asking my parents, what happened to her? Have you consulted with a doctor? Or even they told them to consult with the peer sitting on that area. It was so difficult for me because when I started interacting with the community by my own, they start asking me what's wrong with you or what happened to you. In the 30 years of my life, maybe 33,000 times, I had the same question, what's wrong with you? Because I thought like there are two extremes in the mindset of the people. On one hand, they thought like persons with disabilities are very close to God, so we have to respect them. Or on the other hand, they thought like I'm a punishment from God. So that's why they were not like talking to do me or including in the community, and very like different situation I felt. I'm based in Islamabad with the presence of amazing parents, my siblings, colleagues, mentors, and in a very strong community. But still, I had to fight for my education. Earlier in the special education center and then in the mainstream school. I remember like it was very difficult. I'm blessed, like I've completed my education. I did my master's from the University of Warwick in Gender and International Development Study. I'm the first woman who got the Shivning Scholarship to go and study in the UK. And I was lucky to finish my study, but it was not easy. I remember I was in grade 8 and my teacher was saying, you don't need to do the homework because you are an angel and a blessing for us, so you don't need to do the work, it's fine. And that was not acceptable for me. And that point, I started the advocacy because I taught to my teacher, like I want to go in a class on the ramp, and she was saying, you are blessing, we can carry you up. And that was the first time I did the advocacy and said to her, when we will die, there will be 4 people who are going to carry the wheelchair. So while I am alive, I need a dignified life where we can go by my own. And same is the case in the university, in college, everywhere. There was overprotection or the support. Even in NAMAL, the National University of Modern Languages, the Chacha was very supportive, very caring, but the bus driver, he was just calling like, oh, Mazur, bichari ladki ko rasta de. That was the shout which was not acceptable for me. And in 1997, I started the work and my own organization. I was very passionate, like I have to tell people what's the right about disability and what's wrong, and were not in a mood to accept more advices from the people. I remember one day I was sitting in a shopping mall and a woman sitting next to me, she was keep asking me, what happened to you? Have you consulted with the doctor? Are you getting better? And I was like, yes, I did. But after a while, I asked her, what happened to you? Have you consulted with the doctor? She was quite surprised and she said like, why? What's wrong with me? So I said like, your height is very short, so maybe you need to consult with the doctor. And then there was a quite silent, I apologized because she was an older woman. And I said, sorry. She said, no, you have given me a good lesson. Because we always thought like we are the Superman and try to find out the problems or the mistakes or the defects on the other people. Disability work took me from the grassroots level to the national to the global. From like 2006 until pre-COVID-19, I have worked more than 35 countries all over the world, where I met with thousands of women with disability. We worked together, we talked to each other, and I realized that discrimination is not only exists in Pakistan, it's all over the world. But they talked about the disability concern. They bring that agenda on the table on a very serious note. They like reference the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, the Sustainable Development Goals, and all the legal framework and the legal ways they have talked about. It was not easy for me in Pakistan to advocate for the rights of women and girls with disability, bringing them out from the homes from the first time and talking about their accepting accepting the disability as a lifestyle, how you become the leaders, advocates, and I'm like blessed, like I thought like I owe a lot from those women with disability. Now their call is not only the accessibility or the legislation, but their call is now on the policy reform, and which is very important because I feel women with disabilities are facing double or sometimes triple kind of discrimination. Let me just ask you one question. How many of you use the wheelchair? I was in a training and there were 50, 60 participants, and all of them, they said, no one is using the wheelchair. And I told them, like, you come here on the wheels and the chair because you come in the cars, and that's your wheelchair. My wheelchair and my requirement is very different. I take my wheelchair inside and you parked it outside. But you have all the accessibility for your cars, the roads are there and everything, but for me there is very less accessibility, and people said, oh, poor Abia, she's disabled, we need to come out and talk to her, and this kind of like impression is different. If I turn off the lights, nobody will able to see or listen me. Same is the case if I start talking in French language. Maybe very few listeners can understand in Pakistan, but we don't understand the sign language, and we said like they are the deaf people and they don't know how to talk to people and in the community. So that's very different impression. Being a woman with disability, I think many of the women will agree, like being a woman, it's very difficult to survive in a male dominant society. And if you are a woman with disability, you are double or triple time more in the sexual harassment or violation. And in that situation, we have seen like women with disabilities, mothers, they pray that our daughters die before we die because nobody is going to take care of them. How we can bring them in the community. And for me, like bringing all those, identifying those women with disabilities to talk about the disability with the strong belief that Allah have created everyone equal. It's our creation, this buildings, our attitudes, our infrastructure that's created by us. We can make the mistakes, but Allah cannot make the mistakes. So how we always think about fixing the persons with disabilities to they can be fit in our society. We never thought like everyone need equality, equal resources. I know like there was a hadith in which they says, "Raste se patthar hatana sadka-e jariya hai." So if we just think about that, why don't we take out the communication barriers? We use the sign language and the deaf people will be included. If we remove the infrastructural barriers, all the physical disabilities will be included. And we all need to think about the inclusivity. I know some of the like people thought like disability and the human being have personal kind of very negative relation. When people thought like you have to consult with the doctor or you need to take this medicine and you become normal, so called, I will never take it because I feel my disability as a different lifestyle, it's a power for me. And I live with the disability as a different like identity for me. Disability rights are always human rights, but at the same time, it's important like how other people are advocating for it. Sometimes people call me differently abled or special people or handicapped, but I just thought like I am a proud woman with a disability and I want people to understand and accept and celebrate the diversity. That's how we can build an inclusive and more powerful Pakistan. Thank you.